Good afternoon, and I remembered to say afternoon this time instead of the traditional morning. Speaking of love, I love being here, seeing all you, and I love the fact that I'm a part of a very large spiritual community which stretches all over this island and includes also the people that are watching and listening in with us online. And Reverend Thomas, if you are watching this, you need to turn off your phone and go back to the beach. Because we want you to enjoy your holiday. He works very hard when he's here, doesn't he? Yeah. Well, November. Okay, so we're at the end of November. November is traditionally the month that we designate for the power of release, of letting go. And a few weeks ago, Thomas did a beautiful talk about release and letting go. And it inspired me to think more about that, and so much so that when he asked me to speak on November 24th, I thought, we're going to do part 2. Letting go again. What? Again. So, the value of this particular power, the power of release, it's a necessary part of our everyday lives. Some of these powers we can use every day. Some of them are useful in different situations, but the power of release is something that we do all the time, all the time. It's really what allows us to be alive. We breathe in, and then what do? We breathe out, right? If we don't, we wouldn't be here. So everybody's already practicing release right now as we sit here. This is how it works in our bodies. It's how it works in nature. Every healthy lake has an inlet and an outlet, right? Waves come into the shore, they go off the shore. So release is essential for our well-being, both mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually. So my invitation is to pay attention to that and make sure that we are practicing it in an ongoing way, and also vigilantly, because some of the things that we are holding on to can be very subtle. 2 monks are traveling to a monastery, and as they approach a river, they see a young woman standing there, unable to cross by herself. Monk 1 remembers that monks are allowed no contact with women, and so he crosses the river. Monk 2 hoists the woman on his back, goes across the river, gently places her down, and away they go. 2 or 3 hours later, Monk 1 says, as monks, we are not permitted to touch women. How could you carry that woman on your back? And Monk 2 says, brother, I set her down on the side of the river. Why are you still carrying her? Subtle. This stuff can be very, very subtle. As we investigate our interior selves, which I'm hoping that we are doing all the time, we may notice that there are situations that weigh us down, right? That cause us to lose our peace or our joy. So how do we unburden ourselves from these? Well, another word for release is letting go. Have you ever had an ongoing challenge with somebody, perhaps a person, and then you talk about it with a friend, and they say their advice to you is, just let it go? Well, a few things come to mind when I hear that. Some I can't say here. Just let it go. Well, that's easy for you to say. You don't understand what this person did. You weren't there when it happened. You don't know how this impacted me. It's not that easy. I'm supposed to just let it go? Or I did let it go and now they're back again. So what are we being asked to let go of? A person? An event? Well, the thing is, we can't always let go of a person because they may be our neighbor. They may be our sister-in-law. We may let go, but then what happens? They show up again. And there they are, doing the same thing, acting the same way, treating us the same way, doing what they always do. So I don't know about you, but I get tired of having my heart sink every time I have to interact with somebody like this. Or being annoyed every time our neighbor parks and cuts off part of our driveway or something like that. We can't always let go of the situation. Can we release our fixed income? Can we let go of our broken leg? Can we release our rude neighbor? No, but we can release the thoughts and the feelings that we have about these situations or these people. We can release our thoughts of lack if we're concerned about our income. We can release our fears about healing a broken leg. We can release our animosity towards our neighbor. So do you see the difference? The neighbor is still there. Our leg is still broken. So how do we practice that power of release? What we do have control over is what we think and what we feel. That is our work. That is something we can do, and we have the tools to do it. One of the ways that came to me to share was to look for the gift. There is value in everything that happens in our lives. Now, I'm not saying the whole experience was good. Don't hear me wrong. But there is some good present. And how do I know this? Because this is our first unity principle. One presence, one power, only good, which means there is no place and no person where good is absent. We can challenge ourselves, and I do this a lot, to stay with the experience until I can see the good, until I can get that glimmer of good that is there, that I know is there. We want to stick with it so that we don't lose the gift at the same time we release. So that we can take the lesson, the wisdom, the understanding, the blessing, take that with us as we go forward. If we completely let go of an unpleasant person or experience, we would be losing, right? All the wisdom that could have been gained. Every experience holds within it the opportunity for significant growth and spiritual transformation, no matter how unpleasant, how painful. When I was working at a large social service agency in Victoria, I was in the front, kind of the office manager, I guess you could call it. And every once in a while, boy, these were the days, we would do a massive mail out, like 300 letters we'd be mailing out. And so I was in charge of, producing the mailing labels and making sure we had the stamps and organizing volunteers to stuff all the envelopes and things like this. But the woman who had the stamps was our kind of bookkeeper accountant, right? So I would go into her office and I'd say, hey, how many stamps have we got? And she'd say, oh, well, let's see, I think the last time, let me think now, I think we have one roll. No, I think we have 3 rolls, but, George was in here yesterday and he took 10 stamps and I think somebody else took 30 last week, and I'm sitting there going, just, give me the general idea. I'm not asking, this is not an inventory. Do we have enough stamps for this mailing? And I'll tell you, I would just be like, just like waiting to finally get kind of the number that I needed. So you can imagine, I did not look forward to this situation, which I had to do, every 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. I thought, okay, Vicki. Then I thought, okay, there's no point in being so impatient, so worked up about this. I actually appreciate her because, you know what? I'm more of a, there's a couple hundred stamps. She's a person who does our payroll. I'm really glad she's not, Vicki earned about this much money this month or something. Like, I want her, this is a very good trait for a bookkeeper, is details, not one of mine. Anyway, so I thought, okay, just accept the fact that you're going to have to talk with her. So then I'd, take a deep breath and I'd go in and say, well, how many stamps have we got? And I would wait and wait. So I thought, okay, well, that was better. I wasn't, boiling up inside. I think I've come to acceptance. And I thought, no, that is not acceptance. That is resignation. And there's a difference. It's just like, oh, well, I can't do anything about it. Just go in there and stand there until she gives me the right, until she gives me the number, right? So I thought, okay, Vicki. So I had, I worked in here 5 or 6 years, so I had lots of time to practice this. Okay, so I don't want to be feeling resignation. I could let that go. What would be the next one? And I thought, the thing about acceptance. It's like, I am grateful for her gifts, for the way that she conducts her business, that my paychecks are always accurate, and that this multi-billion-dollar organization that we run and she keeps track of is doing really, really well. Okay, so I accept. So that was better. I could walk in, hi, how many stamps, blah, blah, blah. I thought, okay, it's got to get better than that. Like, that's just not it yet. And what I got was, it's gratitude. And I thought, I get to go in and spend 15 minutes with this woman and get to practice patience. She is my patience teacher. And I don't even have to pay her. And I get to take this class every week. So I know it is funny, but it's true. You can, I went from resignation to, what was it? What came after? No, from annoyance. From annoyance to resignation to acceptance to gratitude. It is possible to be wholeheartedly grateful, just as I was for that situation. We can do it. We have the power to do it. And it sure makes life a whole lot better. So I know that we have all made an effort to shift the way that we see a person or a situation. But what about when we find ourselves back in the same place, right? I can't believe I am back here again. But the thing is, it's not the same place. Because we are not the same person we were a year ago. We're not the same person we were 5 years ago. That person is not the same person either, although they may act like it. But we are not in the same place. We have grown and matured spiritually. And apparently, when these things show up again, we're ready to dive in again and come away with another gift, another blessing. I was thinking that it's kind of like pulling a weed. You have something growing in your garden that you don't want there, and so you pull it out and you go, yay, it's gone. Can't see it anymore. A year goes by, it's like, what is that? There it is again, pops out. Okay, so we get down, we dig it out, maybe we dig a little bit deeper, find some of those little roots. A few years go by, and then we look, and it's like, seriously? This weed is back again? I thought I took care of it. And now it's back. So at this point, we're at a crossroads, really. We have two choices. We can either, which I used to do, and sometimes still do, berate myself for not doing it right. Well, if it's back, I must not have done it right. Or we can practice self-compassion, understanding, those kinds of things, and say, I guess I'm ready to do more. And just go back at it one more time. If it shows up again, don't stop. Don't give up. Don't ignore it. Follow the roots again, and you will find the gift perfectly created for you. Because there is always a gift. There is always some good. Spirit is always working for us, providing for us. There's a great story in the Old Testament, Jacob wrestling with an angel. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with that story. So Jacob is traveling through the desert with his family. They go across a river. He goes back to pick up something, and he meets an angel, and he's determined that he will stick with this angel until he gets a blessing. And so the story goes, these are all metaphysical stories, of course, that he wrestles with the angel all night long. And at dawn, the angel tries to say, stop, stop. And Jacob replies, I will not stop until I have received a blessing. He knows it's there, and he is not going to give up. And at that point, the angel gives him a blessing, and dawn breaks. So what situations in your life are you wrestling with? Are you prepared to give up the struggle so that you can receive the gift? So that you can see the blessing that is waiting there for you? At the end of the fight, also, this is kind of a cool thing. This is what's the beauty about metaphysical interpretation in the Bible, is that at the end of the fight, the angel gives Jacob a new name. And metaphysically, that represents a new nature, a new chapter in your life. That means that transformation has taken place and that you are born again. So release is a clearing out, right? It's an emptying. And just like our breath doesn't work if we only breathe out either, does it? We have to put something in. So spiritually, when we get to that place where we have let go of something, where we've pulled out that weed one more time and the ground is empty there, that into that opening, it's really important that we place a spiritual truth, a spiritual principle, something that's going to fill up that space so that actually the other stuff has no place to come back to. So I thought what I would do this morning is that we could experience this together in our time of prayer and meditation. We'll go through some of the possible letting goes, and then we'll fill them in with some truth statements.